Why are North Americans lying about the World Cup without Russians? They try not to notice the ghost of the Russians at the World Cup, and this hurts everyone more. I'll try to be brief. Seeing the atmosphere in the arena today, one can appreciate the love for figure skating. There is no better place in Japan to experience it. I think figure skating is in excellent condition now. The level of competition at the World Championships is high in all disciplines. Skaters have been preparing all year to show their best result here. I think the championship is incredibly interesting to the public. And it's a great honor to perform here and show everything possible in the fight against the best in the world. American figure skater and probable world dance champion Evan Bates answered the question of a Japanese, not Russian, journalist about the absence of Russians in the tournament and the impact of their suspension on the landscape world figure skating. The Italians Gennard Fabri and Piper Gills, who were sitting next to him, briefly supported their colleague, saying that they said smoothly, "You can understand the dancer Bates in this form. Russia in the current circumstances is not a favorite, at best, a strong middle peasant." He answered diplomatically, "Neither ours nor yours." No one expected the American to knock over the table and say, "Get back, Maser Russia." Foreigners generally react cautiously to questions about Russians. The topic is toxic, not pleasing to God, or rather, not pleasing to the ISU. But this is an occasion to once again give respect. Respect in Japanese will be sankei to a journalist. Questions about Russia should be asked, even if the Russians do not expect detailed answers. It is clear that the athletes are happy with the chance to win medals, titles. They will be sidelined by Nikita Kutsalapov or someone else. But, as Cato the censor said, Carthage must be destroyed. So we must in every possible way call on all platforms to restore this Carthage in full and not split off the most important part from it. After updating the recommendations of the IOC, the pendulum definitely swung towards the return of the Russians. Perhaps the International Skating Union will not run, pardon the pun, to remove the ban first, but if there is a political consensus and they say from above, then they will have to. However, let's evaluate the words of Bates in terms of fair and impartial figures that do not shout excitedly Russia. Bates says the championship is highly competitive across all disciplines. The competition may be high, but if I and a few other amateurs enter the World Championship, we will also fight on equal terms in the region of 1-2 points. The results will be solid, but there will be no smell of the World Cup. In Saitama, competitions for women and couples were completely completed. Free programs for men and dancers remained. We won't even argue about dances here. Russia, despite Beijing's silver, is thrown far back in development. But there are 3 more types. The women's tournament has just ended. Comparing scores is incorrect. Let's compare the jumps on the pluses. And it will turn out for the Russians that the final of the Russian Grand Prix was stronger than what the residents of the Tokyo agglomeration saw. Let's take the top 6 in each tournament and see. 1. From the obvious that the leaders at the World Championship did not make a single Ultra C. Russian women have 20 attempts in 2 programs, 11 successful. 2. But there are also things that are not on the surface. For example, despite the more complex content, all participants made the same mistakes. On the minuses, they have 4 jumps in the short program and 6 in the free program, plus 2 butterflies. The Russians have 3 and 9, respectively, without butterflies. 3. The statistics on jumps are as follows. In the short program, the Russians made 15 out of 18 jumps on the pluses, and all 3 mistakes were on the triple axel. At the World Championships, 14 out of 18 mistakes on the triple lutzes. In the free program, the Russians have 33, 42, all errors are again on Ultra C, except for 1 triple Lutz and Rittberger. 4. Maybe the World Bowman did not make a single quadruple or triple axel, but they cleanly hammered triple cascades? No matter how, The top 6 of the World Championship entered 11 combinations, one with an oiler, and successfully landed only 6. Russian women have 14 out of 14. There is a difference in content. Yes, we can say that the world choreography is moving forward, but from the point of view of an average person who turns on the TV, the essence is about the same. Basically, they're all lyrics and something soaringly sublime, with the exception of some glimpses. There is no doubt you also need to be able to portray this, also at the end of the season after all the injuries and flights. All the medalists of the championship who dug themselves into the free skate, Kim Chae-yoon and Kim Iri-pon and many others, are heroines. But it cannot be said that the championship without the Russians has not lost anything. In sports couples who finished skating on Thursday, everything is also obvious. From jumps, toe loops and salchows, emissions for the most part Rittberger, in protocols more often the third level than the fourth. Although we have to admit Miura Kahara could cling to bronze in Russian tournaments after 2 pairs of Tamara Moskvina. Russian leaders also rarely jump more difficult jumps, but still there were visits to the Rittberger, and at the final of the Grand Prix Kabibalin Nyazik, they even made a Lutz with axles. For men, by the way, not everything is so obvious either. There are 7 quads in the first 6, of which 1 flip and 1 Lutz, the rest 4 toe loops and 1 salchow. In St. Petersburg there were 11 attempts, all were grounded, 1 Rittberger at -0.67, the other at pluses, then salchow and toe loop in half. In general, the Russian guys in the fight for bronze would definitely not get lost. But Russian skaters should understand one thing. If and when they return, the attitude towards Russia, already tense, will be different. They will be ignored in the locker rooms, boycotted, they will start to shy away, they may have to face loneliness. You should be prepared for this, and the federation should hire a good psychologist if it helps someone cope with pressure. Time will heal the wounds, but the healing will take a long time. The main thing is not to be palliative. Natalia Bestemunova spoke about the victory of Japanese Kaori Sakamoto at the World Championships. Is Sakamoto's victory connected with the absence of Russians in the tournament? There is no subjunctive mood, she won the World Championship. Is it rare for Japan to win a second World Cup in a row? She is a great figure skater, why is she a rare occurrence? I congratulate her on her victory, she is absolutely deserved. Has the level of competition at the Worlds fallen due to the absence of Russian figure skaters? Of course, our skaters are a completely different level of skating. This is unequivocal, these are completely different competitions when there are our skaters. Would it be more difficult for a Japanese woman to win the World Cup if there were Russians there? No subjunctive, no, Kaori Sakamoto's World Championship has passed. It is a pity that there were no our athletes, the competition would have been more interesting, said the Olympic champion in ice dancing.